Hello there. Welcome to Vault 76. I will be your orientation guide for today. As a hand-picked dweller of the vault, you'll have access to all of the benefits and protections that the vault offers. You will, of course, be required to do your part because we always believe in teamwork. There is no I in Nuclear Wasteland, so everyone will be expected to do their part. Now, the first thing you want to do is get you set up for your Dweller's Residence keycard so that you can come and go throughout the vault in all of the areas available to your station. So, did you by any chance bring your Vault Dweller's acceptance letter with you? You did not. Okay, well, let me just look up your file. Can you tell me the registration ticket number that you received? Okay. Okay, I think I found it here. Just pulling it up now. Okay, yes, here we are. Okay, so I'm going to need some basic information from you just to help fill out the information, and that will not only be the information that will go into your key card, but that will also help us find out what your talents are and what you might bring to Vault life so that you can be a part of our Vault society. So, let's see, what is your first name? And your middle initial? And your last name, please? Okay, and who were your parents? Yes, first and last names, please. Okay, and okay. Now, were your parents Vault Dwellers or were they victims of the nuclear fallout? Okay. Well, you have my sympathies. Now, what was your place of birth then? Oh yeah, that was lovely country before it was scorched. I've seen pictures of it in the old days, yeah. And your date of birth, please. Okay. What was your hiding place during the nuclear war? Yes, we find this to be a very important question because it allows us to assess how much radiation you might have been exposed to, which then, of course, allows us to assess your potential for mutation due to radiation exposure. So we always like to ask where someone hid out during the fallout, during the nuclear war. So where was your hiding place? Okay. No, that's not too bad. That's a pretty secure location, so we will enter that in. I think you'll be fine. Let's see, what else do we need here? We need to know the percentage of mutant DNA that you might have from any potential radiation exposure. Yes, have you ever been tested for mutated DNA? You have, okay. And what were the results? And where was this test conducted? Okay, that's a pretty good facility. And who was the conducting doctor on that test? Okay. Yes, we always check who the doctor was because occasionally even the doctors who perform these tests, some of them have been exposed to high levels of radiation themselves and then later go crazy, of course. So they don't always give accurate test results, so we like to make sure that the doctor who is assessing you is still maintain their sanity just to ensure that the test results are correct. So, yes, so you should be fine here, yes. So moving on, do you have any special skills? Okay. Yes, these will help us just determine where to place you in the vault and what your specific service will be to the vault while you're here enjoying all the perks of vault life. So that's a good skill. Do you have any others? Okay. Yes, you'd be surprised what might be considered a skill. Just anything that you think could possibly be useful. Even if you don't think it's useful, just tell us anything that you're good at, and anything at all. We might be able to turn that into a skill that you wouldn't even expect. So, yes, just anything that you're good at, let us know, and I'll put this into the system, and then the system will assess all the information you've given me, and then that will get fed down to the system. It'll be a few rooms down in your orientation tour, but when you get there, you will receive your service manual, which will tell you where you've been set. So yes, just tell us anything that you're especially skilled at, even if you don't think it's important. Okay. Okay, so let me just send this through to process here. And I think it should start processing, get you set up and on your way. Okay, yes, it looks like it's taking it. So this is going to process for a few minutes, and then you're going to go down the hall. You're going to get your orientation kit. This is a kit that's given to all qualifying residents. It's been specifically developed by our top scientists to accommodate and facilitate a wide range of activities, particularly those listed in each resident's service manual. Again, you will get your service manual when you go on to the next part of the orientation tour. And in your orientation kit, in addition to the service manual, which will lay out your duties and expected behavior, you will also receive your Vault Tec jumpsuit, and your vault number will be on the back, because you always want to make sure that you're in the correct vault, because each vault, of course, has different rules and regulations for its own survival, so you want to maintain proper care of your jumpsuit, because we don't replace these very often. Fabric is something of a valuable commodity at this point, so make sure that you maintain very proper care of it. Keep it clean. We want all of our vault residents looking fresh and neat, so always keep it clean. If you get a tear, make sure that you sew it. We do have classes on sewing if you're not familiar with how to sew, so that should not be a problem. And in addition to your jumpsuit, you will also receive your Vault Tec approved lunchbox. You'll receive your toothbrush, your eye mask, your Dweller's Isolation Diary and pencil and eraser, because of course you can't fill it out with those things without those things. And what you want to do with that is just, it can get, rather lonely in the vault, and there is the whole underground claustrophobia, depression syndrome that we see, I won't say often, but more often than we'd like to. So you just want to be journaling out all of your feelings in your diary, and that will be assessed once a month to see if you are at risk for claustrophobic depression in the vault, in which case you will be treated. But just honestly journal out your feelings, because just doing that can often keep that depression at bay. So take the time to do that every day. Looks like it's still processing here just a little bit. And then, of course, the last thing, as I mentioned, that you'll get in your orientation kit will be your mandatory service manual. It is so named mandatory service manual because, of course, the service is mandatory. Anyone who does not perform their mandatory service may find themselves emerging from the vault sooner than they expected. So always perform your duties. And within the mandatory service manual is also a list of expected and accepted behaviors. We, of course, can't expect everyone to be in a cheery disposition all the time, but that is one of our key components here, making the vault work, is that everyone tries to be on their best behavior all the time. So you will see the list of expected and rejected behaviors, so you just want to make sure that you're careful to follow the expected and accepted ones and steer clear of the rejected behaviors. So, okay, so this is done processing now, and it looks like being told that you've been selected for a little bit of construction as part of your daily activities, and that also means that you will be receiving a camp. Now, a camp is the construction and assembly mobile platform, and it's the workbench of the future. You can use it to build shelter, you can use it to cook, you can use it to treat infections in the field, you can use it to build houses, and of course it can be moved anywhere, hence the name mobile. And you can also use it to create weapons if you should happen to venture above ground, which we very, very much discourage because there are, of course, many dangers above ground, which we'll get to later in the orientation tour. But so we do discourage you from going above ground, and of course you'll need special written authorized permission if you expect to do that, because you'll never get through the 10-foot vault door on your own without pre-authorization. So, but should you decide to go, you'll be able to create weapons or shelter or anything that you need. And of course, many of the items that you create with your camp, you might be able to sell to other vault dwellers who've gone above ground and might need the items that you provide, and you could make a little bit of extra money that way. The world may have ended, but keeping up with the Joneses has not. So you will receive your camp at the end of your orientation. So now what we want you to do is head down the hall, and you're going to have to watch some orientation videos to qualify for your PipBoy. The PipBoy is a small computer made by Robco Industries. You'll be responsible for rewatching these videos once a year. You have to rewatch the training videos once every year in order to qualify for all the software upgrades for your PipBoy. If you fail to watch your set of training videos once a year, then your PipBoy access will be revoked, it will be turned off, and you'll be asked to exit the vault. So you want to make sure to put it on your calendar, which will be in the PipBoy. Put that on your calendar and make sure that you're checking those training videos once a year. Okay, so why don't you head down to the next room, and I will meet you there, and we will go over the functions of your PipBoy. Okay, welcome back. Now that you've watched your training videos, you have qualified for your PipBoy. These are given to all qualifying vault dwellers, and you have watched the training videos, therefore you are qualified. So this one will be yours. Each PipBoy is equipped with biometric sensors to monitor health information, and you wear it on your wrist. Wear it on your wrist so that it's always attached to your skin. That way the biometric sensors can always monitor your health. It will keep track of things like skin temperature and heart rate, and also dietary intake. The reason we do this is because even though our commissary is filled with mostly healthy foods, we do have, certain non-healthy treats that we do allow the vault residents to consume. However, we want to make sure that no one overconsumes on those, because we want to make sure that you're getting all the healthy nutrients that you need to maintain optimum health, therefore being able to be a productive part of our vault life culture. The PipBoy also has many other functions. It contains maps, your daily to-do list, which will be custom uploaded according to your particular service to the vault. It includes your time clock, so you always know what time it is. A radio, so that you can hear all major announcements and communications, as well as listen to your favorite tunes from the old world. And of course there's also a light in the PipBoy so that you're never left in the dark. Should you be selected to go on a quest, such as a quest to find water, the PipBoy will also be your quest tracker, and it will help you find the water so that you can bring it back to the vault. This is essentially a small computer, so it contains all the files that are available to general personnel throughout the vault, as well as a few files that are not available to general personnel, but will be available to you due to your specific service area. and you can access all those files through the PipBoy, so anytime you get stuck and need to look something up, just turn to your handy little wrist PipBoy and you'll be able to look them right up. So here's your PipBoy. Put this on and never take it off. It's important that you allow it to monitor you at all times because, again, of course, if you have mutant DNA that starts mutating, you're going to want to know that. If your health level drops at all, you're going to want to head straight to the hospital wing. So always keep your PipBoy on your wrist and you'll maintain good health. And if you don't, you'll at least know that you're not. And then once you head on down, why don't we head on down the hall to the commissary, okay? Now, this is the commissary. The commissary is open 12 hours a day. As I've discussed, most of the foods that are available are healthy choices. However, we do have a few treats because vault life should not be without its enjoyments. So we do have a few treats that you can eat, just in moderation, of course. And there are daily specials. The menu is not the same every day because just because vault life is dark doesn't mean it should be boring. So there is plenty to choose from and daily specials, and you should be able to find a wonderful array of delicacies that meet your taste as well as your nutritional requirements. So again, commissary is open 12 hours a day. Please familiarize yourself with this area. This is also a wonderful place for social gatherings and meetings because food is an important part of vault life culture. It's a gathering place, and we try to encourage it as a way to foster community spirit as well as basic nutrients. So it serves more than just food, so make sure that you always remember where the commissary is. So moving on, now this is our workout area. We, of course, highly encourage the use of all of our machines and workout equipment. Living underground, you'll only be walking back and forth on, our concrete floors, and it's not quite the same as outdoor living from the old world. So you'll want to make sure that you're getting plenty of exercise because, of course, health is one of the things that is, one of our core concerns here at the Vault. So you will want to not only make sure you're making healthy eating choices, but healthy exercising choices as well, because you want to make sure that your heart gets a good workout, and walking back and forth among the halls is a good way since there's a lot of space between each of our areas, but sometimes you just really need to kick that exercise into high gear and make sure you get your heart rate up to keep it in optimum health. So familiarize yourself with this area, and then we'll move on. Okay, now this is the hospital wing. This is, of course, a very important wing because accidents do happen in vault life. This is also a very important wing for those who venture above ground. Once again, we greatly discourage that, but some people have to venture above ground occasionally for service, and some people just aren't very bright and choose to venture above ground. And when that happens, there are a lot of dangers above ground, so there could be other people out there who aren't used to being around people anymore and could attack. There could be bandits looking to rob you. There are, of course, feral ghouls, which if you've never met one of those, you would remember if you had. Those are some poor souls that were exposed to very high levels of radiation during the war and are now basically rotting as they live. So it's very sad, and many of them go mad. So you want to be careful if you end up above ground near the feral ghouls, because some of them do go mad, and you just don't want that in your life. So familiarize yourself with the area here because it's going to be very important. And you will also report here once a month to have your DNA checked to make sure that your DNA is not mutating in a way that it should. A few dangers that you might encounter in the vault are the mole rats and rad roaches. These are little varmints that breed throughout the vault, and while we do our best to exterminate them, it doesn't always happen, and sometimes they just keep on breeding. So you'll want to be careful of those. If you see any, make sure that you exterminate them immediately. If you do not feel equipped to exterminate them yourself, please call someone who is. You can use your PipBoy to send a message to the exterminators, and You can give them the exact location. They will swoop in and exterminate them as quickly as possible. Alright, so there's one last stop that is on the orientation tour. So this is the stop where we teach you to learn what makes you special. Special, of course, being strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and of course luck. Now these are our core values. Strength, of course. If you're weak, you're not much use to us, so please make sure that you're strong, at least in mind, if not in body, because we require strength. Perception. Perception is everything here. If you perceive this as a negative place, you will have a negative experience. If your perception can be that of a place of safety and some place that you're glad to be, you will enjoy your vault experience much more here. Endurance. It does take a lot of endurance for vault life. Not everyone is cut out for it, so please try to maintain your endurance and remember that you will emerge at some point. Charisma. We realize that charisma is not something that you can necessarily always have, but we do try to encourage vault dwellers to work on their charisma because happy vault dwellers mean happy vault life. So see if you can develop a little charisma and you'll find it much easier to make friends with your fellow man or woman. Intelligence. If you're stupid, you're of no use to us, so make sure you bring some intelligence into the vault. Keep up with your daily studies and do whatever you can to learn as much as possible to help the vault. Your PipBoy, again, of course, is equipped with many files, so spend time learning those and working on your intelligence. Agility. Again, this is why you'll want to use the workout room as often as possible. You need to be fast to avoid those mole rats and rad roaches, and should you be selected for an outdoor quest, you will definitely need to be quick on those feet, so make sure that you're working out regularly and maintaining your agility. And then, of course, luck, because sometimes when you get right down to it, whether you live or die in the wasteland, it all comes down to luck, and whether you encounter the bad creatures or not, so it's always good to just remember that when really terrible things happen, sometimes there's just really nothing you can do about it, and it's just bad luck. And that also applies to good things. Sometimes you'll live and your buddy won't, and remember not to gloat about it because oftentimes that's just luck. So I hope that you have found your vault orientation tour very educational and helpful, and hope that you will now proceed and start melding with the rest of the vault inhabitants so that you can begin your wonderful life as a vault dweller. We hope that you enjoy your life here at Vault 71, and always remember not to despair because someday you will emerge. So please get comfortable and welcome to Vault 71.